Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum and a very good day. So for this week, we will cover the topic of conditionals. Okay, so before we begin, I will explain to you what we will go through in this lesson. So first of all, I will explain to you what is conditionals, how it is used, and then we will go through the four types of conditionals: zero conditionals, first conditionals, second conditionals, and third conditionals. And for each of the conditional, we will look at the structure as well as the examples, right? So first of all, so we shall begin, right? So first of all, conditionals, right? So conditionals are sentences which talk about conditions as well as the consequence of the conditions, right? So we usually use it for hypothetical event, right? If something happen, what would that thing happen? So in a sentence that have conditionals, there they usually consist of two clauses, right? So the first clauses is the if clause or the when clause, right? So you can use it. You can use either two here. Those are the ones commonly used, but there are other conditional phrase as well. Another thing is that okay, so two clauses, right? So the first one is the condition clauses, and the second one is the consequence or the result clause, right? So for these two clauses, you can also rearrange the order, right? So here I have the examples. If the vase falls from the table, so this is the conditional clause, right? The if clause. And then it breaks, so this is the second clause, the consequence clause, right? So the consequence clause is also known as the main clause, right? So you can go through the notes here, right? So you can also rearrange the order of the sentence and the meaning would not change. So as you can see here, the vase breaks if it falls from the table. So I put the first part here, whereby the vase breaks if it falls from the table, right? Okay, so there are other examples of conditional clauses here, conditional sentences. If she had come early, right? So this is the conditional clause, the condition. She had come early, she would have been able to take the test. So this is the result clause. So the condition is, if she had come early, she would have been able to take the test. The second one, if I were a superhero, I would protect my city with all my might. So if I were a superhero, so this is the condition, and I would protect is the consequence, the result. When you add oil and water together, right? So this is the condition. You add oil and water together, the action. They do not mix. So this is the result. And the last one, if my mom comes pick me up early, I'll join you. So the condition, if only my mom picks me up early, I'll join you. So this is the result. So what you need to observe here is that for each of these conditionals, for each of these examples, I use different tenses. If she had come, so this one is in the present, not present, past perfect tense, and she would have been is would is would lah, modal verb, and have been. We use the present, have, and been, the past participle. So why do you have to use the different tenses here? It is because they are of different condition. So they are of different condition. So they are in they are each in their own category. So the first sentence is actually in the third conditional category, so on and so forth. Here I've already um, labeled it here. So these are the structure, right? So what you have to understand is that uh, what you have to understand is when to use which condition, and for each of these um, circumstances condition, uh, where does it fall under which category, right? Is it the zero conditional, is it the first conditional, is it the second or third conditional? And if it each of these conditional would have different structure, right? So you see the structure here. I wrote the formula like this, right? Past perfect is the condition, and this the consequence, right? I use the arrow here, consequence, and this is the result clause, right? Okay, so let's look at the first conditional, right? The zero conditional. I mean, not the first conditional, right? The first conditional. The conditional that we will look through first is the zero conditional. So when do we use the zero conditional? We use it to express general truth, facts, rules, or laws, right? So the structure is as follow: if or when plus present simple, and then the circumstances, this is the circumstances should be in the present simple, and the result should be put in the present simple as well. So this is example: when you eat something cold too quickly. So you look at the verb here, eat. This is in the present simple, and then the so this is the when or the if clause, right? The conditional clause. And then you look at the second clause, you get brain freeze, right? So get here is a verb, and it is in the present simple as well. And if you look at the sentence, it is talking about facts, right? What would happen if you eat something too cold too quickly? So this is talking about the phenomena of brain freeze, right? And the second example, if the COVID-19 virus infects you, you experience difficulty breathing, right? So the verb infects, present simple, right? You experience difficulty breathing, present simple. The conditional clause, you are infected with COVID-19, and the result, the consequence, you experience difficulty breathing. So what you need to remember is the verb in which you have to put it in. So the first clause, present simple. The second clause, present simple as well. And we use it when we want to talk about facts, general truth, rules, or laws. If you steal something, you get caught, right? So this is talking about laws. Okay, and then we look at the first conditionals. When do we use it? We use it to express possible or likely things in the future. So let's look at the example, the structure first. So if or when plus present simple, and the consequence will plus root verb. So the consequence is in the future tense actually, right? So let's go through here, and remember what I said earlier, that you can also change the movement, not the movement, you can rearrange the order of the sentence. So you can actually put the consequence first. So I will go to the beach when this movement control order ends. So I will go, right? When this MCO ends, present simple. This is future simple. Here I put the another alternative way to write the formula: will plus root verb, and the conditional comes later, but it's still the arrow points the other way lah, right? And let's look at the second one. If you don't save a portion of your money, you will face a big problem in the future. So this is talking about possible or likely things in the future, right? So you look at these sentences, and you know that these sentences are talking about real possibility, right? So the first is the possibility that the MCO movement order would end, and the second one, the possibility that you will face a big problem if you don't save a portion of your money, if you don't have savings. Okay, now let's look at the second conditionals. So we use it to express things that are impossible in the present or unlikely things in the future. In other words, we use it usually to express imagination. So this one, you have to pay attention. We have to put it in the past simple for the conditional, the condition, and the consequence or the result, we put it in the would plus root form. So here are the examples. If I were a billionaire, so you look here, this is like imaginary, right? I mean for me lah, because I'm a lecturer, so it's like it's not very probable for me to be someone very rich and have $1 billion ringgit. But so but it will be different if you are somebody who is like an entrepreneur, and you have a lot of money already. You have 900 millions already, so you add another 100 million, so you will become a billionaire, isn't it? Yeah. So but for me, if I'm a teacher, right, so it's like impossible for me to become a billionaire, right? If I were a billionaire, so this is just imagination, so it will not happen in the future lah. Basically, I'm just having fun, imagining things. I would buy a big mansion by the beach for my parents. So you put it in the past simple, were and would buy, would plus root form. And again, the second examples, I flip the arrangement. I would eliminate corruption, would plus root form, okay, just here, eliminate corruption. If I, okay, so I have to put it if I became, so you see, we have to put it in the past tense. If I became the prime minister of this country. So again, since I chose a career path to be an educator, so it's like and I'm not interested to become a politician, right? So it's unlikely for me to become a prime minister in the future. But yeah, so unless if you're like Dr. Mazli Malik, so he's like a lecturer and then he become a education minister. But so it's like, but that one we will not put it in the second conditional. We will put it, if we're talking about Mazli Malik, we put it in the first conditional, right? If Dr. MM wins election, he will become the education minister, for example, right? But since it is second conditional, it is unlikely to happen. So we're just talking about me here. Okay. And then let's look at the last conditional, the third conditional. So we use it to express things that did not happen in the past, right? So, or things in the past that happened like for different past, right? So it didn't happen basically, but it is in the past, but it didn't happen. Or in other words, we usually use it to express regret, right? So if I had not done this thing, right? So the structure here, if plus past perfect and would have plus past participle, right? If plus past perfect would have plus past participle. So here I flip the arrangement. I put the consequence first. I would not have lost her. Would have loss, past participle for lose, lose, right? If, and then the consequence clause, if I had not cheated on her, right? Past perfect, had not cheated. So this is the past perfect tense. Okay, and then the second sentence, this one reflects reality, right? The USA would not have had, sorry, typo here, would not have had tens of thousands of deaths if they had taken the virus threat seriously in the first place. So would not have had, would have had, the past participle for have, right? So it's had tens of thousands of deaths if they had taken, the past perfect, the virus threat seriously in the first place. So when we talk about the second example here, right? So we are talking about things that happened in the past, right? So in the past, like for your information, you use USA as of today have like 80,000 plus death already because of the COVID-19. So yeah, so that one is, so we are talking about different possibilities, isn't it? Like if only they had taken the virus threat seriously in the first place, like in Korea or in Taiwan, like how they handle the virus, right? So they would not have had tens of thousands, like 80,000. That's like crazy number, isn't it? Yeah. So so I think that's it for this lesson. Um, I know it's like a bit complicated, all over the place a bit, because um, yeah, because of the different conditionals, and then different conditionals you have to use different laws, different rules, right? But what's important is you have to memorize the formula, and then you have to master your tenses, right? So please check back on the notes on the tenses, right? So I think that's it. Thank you very much.